And whatever you do, don't let it fall into the wrong hands.
I'll do a little recap. Y'all headed into the proving grounds, which you discovered to have been covered in mist that made visibility difficult out to a distance of about 5 or 10 feet. You discovered a number of zombies and zombie hands in the city itself, as well as a number of black stones with the same quill and parchment symbol on them, this time emanating green, glowing cracks in the ground, and this city is in a bad way. You then, after defeating a couple of these zombies and looking around the houses that were abandoned, you also saw that the tavern had, or a building that could have been a tavern, had a sign outside of it with a wanted poster for a group of adventurers that seemed similar to a description of a group that you saw in Rook's Crossing, I think. And so this sort of other group you seem to have garnered some information about. You then discovered in a tavern the king, Edgar, or Lord Edgar, I suppose, who rules over this city, and his associate bodyguard, Greg, who seems to be really nice, but unfortunately was unable to be convinced to join your group. This is after you tracked the bone devil that was in control of the destruction of this city to a sort of wrecked palace building, after which a battle ensued, and you defeated him, whereby he yelled out at someone in the darkness behind you who will not have heard the last of their master or something like that. And after discussing with Greg, this is where we rejoin the action. And first off, I'm going to get Josa to make a perception check.
Okay. Click.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
with a 17, you notice amongst the charred bones of this bone devil's corpse, an undamaged skull, quite small, seemingly attached to this creature's hip.
Okay. Yeah, Josa will, throwing caution to the wind, I sort of stroll over and pick it up and have a closer look and wave it around at the others and say, look what I found.
It seems Greg says, "Ugh, is that safe?"
I don't know. It doesn't smell too bad.
Make a medicine check with advantage.
Okay.
Okay.
14.
With a 14, it looks awfully similar to diagrams that you saw in your home village of what your own skull would look like, a halfling skull. So it's a little wider, a little smaller, and on the forehead is the same symbol that you've been seeing everywhere, with a quill and parchment appearing to have been carved into it somehow.
Hey guys, check this out. It looks like a halfling skull with that same symbol. Does anyone want to see if it's got some magic properties, or should I just tie it to my belt like all this other shit?
Okay.
How about I press the quill against its head?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that worked in the last place. Give that a go.
Quill.
Zenarai
Quill.
can do an
Quill.
Arcana examination, and Monty can do a quill pressing.
Alright, Zenarai first.
Okay, with an 11, Zenarai, you get a vibe, like a little tingle. But for you, Arcana is kind of an instinctive thing, and you get an instinctive response from this skull that something is going on in the arcane plane, but you're not sure of the specifics. Maybe someone that is more of a book-learning type dude would know, or dudette. Monty, Zenarai, you make a comment about this observation?
I shoulder past Josa and say maybe.
Maybe.
And say maybe to what?
No, just understands. Just understands.
Gotcha.
And then just like silently turns towards Monty and says, "Alright,
Okay.
try your quill."
You press
Quill.
the quill against it,
Well,
and
well.
unlike the door in the middle of the venomous corpse, this quill doesn't go through it or cause the skull to disappear. But as you get closer to the symbol, it does remarkably resemble that one that you've seen on the door and on the black stones in the surrounding area.
It was a feather you had, right? You had a feather?
Yeah, it's a feather.
Yeah.
I turn around and go, nil. Several times.
Okay. Yeah. Joseph says, "Hey, Greg, you seen any of these around the city before? Or what do you reckon this is?"
Greg is going to make a history check. What's Greg's history like? Oh, wow. With a 19, he says...
What a nerd.
He says, I've seen this symbol on the black monoliths that have sprouted up all around this city. That's where I recognize it from. Why is it on this skull?
Can I... so I used medicine, didn't I? I got a decent roll. Is there any way I could tell whether it was the symbol was carved on before or after death? Is there any way you'd know that?
Yeah, with a 14, you're quite confident that it was carved afterwards.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's keep hold of this. Maybe someone else will know what it is, and I cinch it to my cinch.
Okay, it's attached to your waist. The growing pile now extends your hip by a good, foot.
Like a newly married couple. There's just shit hanging off the back of me.
Every time you walk, I'll say you have a disadvantage on stealth now, just because of the clang,
Yeah.
clang, 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 clang.
I was about to ask that.
Yeah. Okay, I might have to sort that out later, but we'll leave it be for now. I'm proud of my latest trophy.
But don't you have that big bag that you can put things in?
Yeah, but no one would see it.
You guys do have a bag of holding, right? Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll start rotating out and have my sort of 3 favorites on there for a while, but at the moment I want them tied on.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to cast minor illusion on the skull to turn it into a halfling-sized penis.
You see the skull appear to change shape to a penis. Although it's still in your hand, feels like a skull, or on your hip, it looks incredibly like a halfling penis.
Yeah, Joe says, "Meh, whatever.
Trophy's a trophy.
Trophy's a trophy. Apparently that's more badass."
You see Greg say, should we tell Edgar the good news? This is, I don't know how we're going to clean up those rocks in the city, but this is a huge, good step in the right direction.
Yeah, sure. I mean, should we have a look around the room, see if this bone devil thing was, I don't know, storing any sweet loot?
Yeah, 2 people can make an investigation check, or 1 person with advantage, because the other will be helping them.
I'll go because I proposed it, even though mine's not great.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if someone else with a good investigation wants to do it, I'll do 1 roll.
Okay, with a 14,
14.
and anyone else can jump in.
Let me check my investigation because I don't remember.
Someone help me.
As he scrambles
do you
around
wanna
the rubble in the room.
Do you want to give it a try again? Because mine is +0, so.
Okay, you see Zenerai and Abe reluctantly sort of kick over a few bits of stone, looking like they're helping you, and it's just enough to make you focus more.
Okay.
So you can roll again.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a 15, you notice in this room... did you see that ping?
Yep.
In this room, you discover a mortar and pestle with a sort of... It's like a pink substance. And then you see a powdered substance inside the mortar and pestle. And then you see a vial of red liquid to the left of it, and then a vial of white powder to the right of that.
Yeah. Pocket it all.
Okay.
Chuck it in the bag of holding. Don't tell anyone.
You can write down in your notes section of your character sheet for possessions or whatever, mortar and pestle, blood vial, and bone powder.
Ah, cool. Gonna be doing some alchemy.
Good name for a metal band. Bone powder.
All right, sweet. Yeah, I walk out then of the room and say, "Yeah, nothing in there."
Fair.
I can I then tie the petal to my belt?
I'll say that's pretty. Actually, you've got a pretty good knowledge of rope craft. I'll say you managed to do it, but it does again enhance the noise that you're creating as you walk around. What's happening?
I turned it into a second penis.
Is that a cantrip you've got?
Just as the previous penis becomes the skull again, because it lasts for 1 minute, your mortar and pestle becomes a penis, almost as if the penis is spreading its influence to your other trophies.
It takes over. Yeah. I'm like, oh god, thank god I don't have that penis anymore. Oh no. Sticks again. All right, yeah, Dave. Not Dave. Greg. You reckon we should go back to your king?
I'm sure the news will be excellent. I can't wait to take the load off of his mind.
Yeah, load.
You notice the sun is starting to set through the enormous, like stained glass windows behind Greg. He looks even more angelic than usual.
Oh, Greg.
Greg. Who did we work out was like by the end? Who was in Greg's good books and who hated? You hated Greg, didn't you?
I hated Greg. Yeah, oh, piece of shit.
Yeah, I think.
Monty and Abe are quite partial to him.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I think Joseph was quite neutral. We got more focus on Dave. All right. Well, presumably you want to go back to Edgar.
Yeah.
So I say to whatever his name is. Gary.
Greg?
Greg?
Yeah, Greg, let's go speak to your master.
This handsome devil. Okay, Greg leads you out of the ruined palace building. And because you know the way, you find your way quickly back to the Green Dragon Inn. And then...
Can I, before we like say anything to Edgar, can I just say to everyone, what did everyone think of that fight? I think it went quite well.
I think we did manage to actually kill the thing, so yes.
Yeah, the objective was achieved in a timely fashion.
I think we were quite fast in general, so yeah.
Yep. Did you see when I rescued Dave and didn't kiss him?
How did that happen?
This is the big shock reveal that Dave's actually a boy.
You can check yourself.
When did you not kiss Dave and that was a big deal? Gross. Is this something that happened?
I can't put a time on something that didn't happen, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I just want to say that I still think that Greg is a massive piece of shit.
You see Greg say, "You know I can hear you, pointy man. I mean, you did a great service getting rid of that creature, but this level of insult is, well, it's unpleasant."
I used the mage hand to kind of do this over his face, just really gently.
Like talk to the hand.
Yeah, but more like.
You see him go, What witchery is this?
Yeah,
don't worry, Greg. It would take far too long to explain. If you're a tiny brain of Greg.
We have a strange group dynamic. I think it would take. He's right. It would take too long to explain. We're kind of hate each other. We're good friends. It's kind of weird.
But we only hate you.
Oh yeah, we don't like you.
It's okay. I like you fine, Greg. I like you fine. You're a paladin as well. We're good.
She's lying to you, Greg.
Oh, a paladin. I've often considered pursuing that career, but I've never found a patron that would take me on. Do you think I could become a paladin?
For fuck's sake, let's carry on with the quest.
No, you can come with
us. Do you all headed back into the Green Dragon Inn?
Yeah, we stroll in. My moment of levity has passed.
You all
had a good moment of reflection.
you all stroll in, and Lord Edgar is still eating at the same table, remarkably, seeming to have retrieved actual saucepans from the kitchen beyond and just eating straight out of the saucepan. Still with the same quite nice gold cutlery, but yeah, he's just munching it down. And as you come in, he says, "Oh, you're still alive."
We live.
And Greg says, "Yes, my lord. The loyal members of this coterie have destroyed the devil that has taken our city hostage. They deserve much thanks. Well, most of them do."
Did you hear that, guys? We're a coterie.
Mm.
We're going up in the world.
You see he takes a couple more seconds to finish chewing, and he says, "Goodness me, this is... Well, I to be honest, I didn't think that you'd be able to do it, but never mind. Oh, what can I do? Wait a minute. You, small... Are you a halfling?" And he seems to be gesturing to Josa.
Yes.
You look...
You never seen a halfling before?
Well, no, I have, but a forest halfling very similar to your look and build came to the city about just before this stone devil treachery took place. He somehow got an audience with me and wanted to sell something. He looked filthy, so I got rid of him, but I haven't seen one of you in a long time. Are you part of the same tribe?
Tell me more about this halfling. What was he trying to sell you?
Well,
Did it look something like the skull?
Look something like what?
We'll wait for that big reveal.
He says, tell me more. What was he selling? Well, my palace guard said he was trying to sell jewelry or something, but I don't know how he got an audience. We usually turn those kind of riffraff away at the gates, but he somehow got into the throne room and said his piece, and I made some excuse and got rid of him. But we haven't seen any halflings from the forest tribe to the north of here in decades, so I was surprised at the same time as disgusted, because of his clothes.
Did he? Yes, I mean, he sounds pretty disgusting. Did he give you his name?
He's gonna make a history check. Let's try this. What's his stats? This guy, I don't think this guy's history is gonna be very good. Oh yeah, with a 5, he says, "I don't quite remember, but he did have, like, he had a little bit of a paunch. He had a scar on his cheek." And you can roll a history check, Josa.
Okay.
Oh yeah, with a 12. This sounds like one of the members of your village, which is quite surprising to you because you haven't had contact with them in a long time. And his name is Elvar, Elvar. And he was always a bit of a kind of lazy member of the village, and you're surprised to hear about him.
That sounds like
sort of...
Elvar. Yes,
maybe. That could have been his name, yeah.
That's strange. He was always a bit of a character, but he left the village a long time ago, but I haven't seen him since. Don't remember him selling shit.
I just thought it just came back to me when I saw you. What can I do to repay you for doing us this service?
Pretty much all the gold you have.
Make a persuasion check, and if anyone else wants to chip in their whatever, go for it.
Nice. Gold? Of the gold?
What?
I was saying, does everyone else want some gold?
Wow. With a 3, he says, "Well, I mean, it was your civic duty after all. I mean, you would be dead probably if this threat had spread beyond our city walls."
I'm going to come stomping up and say, "I demand that you sacrifice Greg. For payment, his head alone will suffice."
Wait. Make a persuasion check, Zerai. And Abe, what is your persuasion check?
Just helping out Josa.
Oh, okay. Basically, Abe steps...
Someone wants to chip in?
Nat 20 on that one.
Oh wow. Okay, so let me resolve this. Basically, after Josa has made his request for all the gold that
hang on.
Lord has, what's up?
So I get advantage on intimidation rolls.
Well, technically this was a persuasion check. If you were trying to intimidate, then yeah, I suppose You were demanding his bodyguard be killed. Is that intimidating the Lord specifically?
No, maybe it's persuasion. All right, let me do persuasion.
If you can either, you can either, like it would have been fine to go with intimidation, but I would want you to change what you say to make it a little bit more threatening.
Okay.
Whatever the fuck you want to do, you have just failed so badly.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Basically, the Lord is distracted by Abe coming up to him and just like going like this in a sort of like Abe neutral way, but the Lord looks a little taken aback and nervous and starts reaching in his jacket and throws out 2 sacks of gold and says, "This, I promise, this is all I have. The rest of the city has been destroyed and looted. This is 400 gold pieces. This will hopefully be enough." And he looks at you.
Yes, that will be enough. I'm also going to give Greg 100 pieces and then 100 pieces, 100 pieces from my cut, guys. Relax. And that just so that he can find a paladin patron or whatever it is called and get away from that
I
asshole.
will be his patron.
So
we already offered him to be part of our team.
I have 50 gold, just for the record.
All right.
Cool. So if you guys can follow the maths on that, you can divide the rest of the gold. And Greg gratefully accepts it and says, "Oh, thank you, Abe. This will make all the difference in the world. I think I will make this as a donation to one of the patrons I eventually choose. There's a number of temples in the city, or there used to be. Once things get back on their feet, I will try to follow the path that you have laid out."
Good, Greg. And stay away from Zerariah.
Basically, at this point, Lord Edgar registers what Zenarai has said and seems to be confused and says, Did Greg not help you during your victory? I sent him as my trusted bodyguard."
He did. It's fine. Relax.
He played it well. He did his part, I suppose.
Mumbled justifications. Yeah, he was fine.
Skulk over here.
Yeah, we all tried to woo him in one way or another, and he rebuffed us.
Cool. So basically, you see Edgar turn to Greg and say, "Oh, well, if you're going to follow the paladin's path, I'll be sorry to lose you, but not more than as a cook. This food is amazing, Greg." "Oh, I didn't get a chance to finish that, my lord. That was in the kitchen. Why did you go back there?" "Well, I was hungry, and everything I eat just..." And he holds up his knife and fork with all the food still on it and says, "Everything I eat from... it's just... oh." And he goes back to eating it.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Make...
That is
Monty can make an insight check, and Zenarai is facing the wall, so I'm going to say he's probably not paying too much attention.
Looking out the window at the birds.
If you can be more specific about what you're doing, Zenarai, then I can probably... Are you like...
Oh, I stalked away because I couldn't tolerate all this Greg praise.
All this Greg praise, okay. I think Monty would be the one that would kind of react most to this. So Monty, can you make an insight check, please?
And I remember there being weird food here. Like he was always very excited by the food, and I'm like, I don't get this. Like, no cook is this good.
Yes.
Oh yeah, with an 18, that is precisely what you conclude. Being an incredibly enthusiastic eater, as has been registered as canon in many an episode of Monty just shoving his face into all food, you're confident that even in the deepest depths of your depraved hungers, you have not expressed this level of enthusiasm. So it seems odd to come from this skinny aristocrat. And so you're a bit confused, and you sense something is amiss.
Good sir, I have never tasted something that made me so shout to the rafters with glee and excitement. May I, perhaps, give that a little try?
Are you going to seriously try that? What if it's poisoned?
I don't think it's poisoned.
What if it's bewitched, or however you say it?
I want to try some too.
Okay.
I will happily be bewitched by Greg.
Edgar says, by all means. And how do you sample the food?
It's only going to be a small bit, so like I'm going to like snuffle it a little bit warily. So like I'm going to suss it out, and then I'm going to just sort of tongue it like across the whole plate. It doesn't hoover anything up. It's more like an application of the tongue to the surface area of the food.
Wow, this is the most specific. I mean, to be fair, I did ask for it. Okay, you. It tastes. I'll deal with Joseph. How do you sample the food?
I'll just take a bite.
With your hands?
No, grab his fork out of his hand and eat it.
Okay. Both of you notice that the food tastes not just mediocre, but bad. Like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this guy.
Okay, I go, good sir, this is one of the finest delicacies I've ever tasted. Could you tell me the name of your cook? Who provides you with this delicious repast?
Firstly, make a deception check for the food tasting good.
I'm going to say as well to Monty, who's presumably next to me, yo, what are you talking about? This is disgusting.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You see...
Does he hear me? And that's why his deception fails.
Possibly, yeah. He says, what? Don't be outrageous. This is the most delicious cuisine I've ever tasted. And as you look inside, it's basically oats that are still soaking and haven't been turned into porridge yet. He's eating basically mostly raw oats. And he says, this is ridiculous. And there's also a bit of like meat mixed in that is still in the process of boiling, presumably. So he says, Greg is my cook. I mean, he didn't used to be, but obviously the rest of the city is dead. I don't know who used to run this grummy establishment, but it's ours now.
Greg?
So I shout, I knew it! And I come stomping up right into Greg's face.
I get to help you over here.
And I'm going to cast Command, as is my specialty, on Greg.
Okay, what one word command do you give him? I love
Confess.
the I knew it storming in. What was it? Oh, confess. Greg says, I'm a member of the palace guard, but actually, let's see. He starts to stammer that out, but he needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Ha!
Okay, with the 3
Fuck
says,
you, Greg.
I'm a member of the palace guard, but when the devil started to assault the city, I hid. That's why I survived. I hid in the closet.
I knew you were a pathetic worm. You maggot. You pathetic, awful piece of shit. What's the deal with the food?
I also could tell you were in the closet. I could tell you were in the closet, and that's why I've been trying to put the moves on you, as it were. But that's okay. It does take us all quite a while, to find ourselves.
Basically, Greg is weeping and saying, there's nothing about the food. I'm not a good cook either. I don't know why he likes it so much. And then he basically runs away.
I slap Greg.
Okay. You take a
Before he
slap
runs
attack of opportunity on Greg, so you can make an unarmed strike. And Abe, you wanted to do something?
I want to ask him what he has been using in his food.
Okay, with an 18, you do manage to slap Greg across the face, who like stumbles a bit as he's running away like this. Basically, Abe, I think Greg kind of responded to that as well when Zenarai asked, what's with the food? He says, I don't know. He said, I don't know. I'm not a very good cook. I don't know why the Lord likes it so much.
Well, what I meant to say was like, what has he been using to make the food?
Oh, okay. You see Greg from a distance now says, whatever I can find in the storeroom. Oats, dried meat. There aren't that many vegetables left. That's what he says.
I throw a chair at Greg.
Okay, that's going to be an athletics check. With a 4, you basically do the equivalent of throwing it like 2 feet, and you're like, oh, I needed to stretch before that. You get a bit stiff.
Yeah, you go way too late and just completely pull it smash into the wall.
Because Greg, my hatred for you has. I'm
gonna sort of whistle at Dave and say, like, block the exit so that Greg can't run away.
Okay. Dave blocks the exit. You notice, Joseph, that Edgar takes the fork back from you and continues to eat his food, like, with his knife and fork, even though it's oats and meat. He seems to be, like, very properly trained to eat.
Can we check the kitchen?
Yeah,
To
go for
see if
it.
there's anything, like, magical or anything.
You hop
Let's
over
do
the
that.
bar.
Yeah, where Greg was cooking before.
Okay. You go behind the bar and you discover a couple of pig carcasses hanging up, another stove with a chimney, some meat rations chopped up on a table, a sort of rudimentary sink. It seems like a pretty basic kitchen to you. There's also a storeroom that you see from the outside.
Are there any spices or something like that? Like powders?
Make an investigation check.
Yeah.
You also notice with the blood in the middle of the floor that this isn't a very hygienic place. It's both slaughterhouse and kitchen preparation area. Okay. With a 12,
Greg, you've done
you discover some dried wild thyme, some salt, but only a small amount of it. It's quite valuable. And very little else of, like, what you would consider herbs or spices.
I'm gonna say,
guys, how about you check if there's anything magical that has caused the obsession with the king or whoever he is?
I look a little bit disappointed at the finds because if it were any other herb that were left over, I was going to tell him that he was out of time. But unfortunately, possible.
I'm
And
so
so I
sorry.
kind of just look a bit dejected.
I suggest an experiment. With my little bag of sand, I think we go into the kitchen, we create another shit plate of food, and cover it with sand, and give it to the king, and see if he still snaffles it down.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good idea.
You hear distantly from outside the kitchen preparation area. Greg's still weeping.
Nice.
Oh, Greg.
Good.
I mean, this is slightly meta, but may I request a cooking montage?
Yeah. Gonna make it right.
Right.
Gonna go around and chop up all the herbs today. Gonna make it right. There you go. You
And I
this is
kind of just
basically.
look around.
I like the idea of someone chopping, probably Abe, and then throwing the vegetables from the chopping board into the boiling pot. But occasionally Monty would like jump in and like intercept them with his mouth.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's
And then
like
I kind of like turn to the camera in a chef's hat with like a big grin, and that's like the sort of final.
What were you saying, Hugo?
yeah, exactly that.
Okay, sweet.
Sorry.
Wow, you had the same art direction for that scene. Cool. So Joseph goes over to Greg for some reason.
Yeah, so I was gonna, so while this cooking montage is going on, I was gonna try and grill Greg a bit more and say,
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
yeah, hold him over the hot coals and say, I mean, this guy has not always been this crazy bad food, right? When did this start? Since the attack, or since you guys have been alone? Give me more details.
Well, I mean,
Snap out of it.
I've never done any cooking before. And the Lord, from what he told me when we first found this shelter, is that he's never been that impressed with the food in the palace. It was only since we found this tavern and started eating here with all the equipment and food stocks that they have here that he liked everything. I mean, it can't be me.
And, yeah, okay. And I mean, more about yourself, Greg. That is your name. You don't fuck with magic or anything, do you?
No, I've never really. Oh, at this point, you notice there's that sense of restfulness comes over you, and since you came into the tavern, you realize you're quite well rested, and you've basically had a short rest by being here. And you also just feel positive vibes in this place. And you sense, make an insight check, Joza. Yeah, with a 9. You get the sense that there's something... Greg has some good vibes, despite being, a wussy. You get the sense that when you're really close to Greg, you feel a little more perked up, a little bit like you do when you're with Abe, and Abe rallies everyone during a battle. So you hear Greg respond, "No, I've never been involved with the arcane. I've considered becoming a paladin, but I haven't taken any steps towards it."
So at this point, I run up to Greg and I go, "'Cause I fucks with magic."
And you see him taken aback. At this point, I'll say the food is finished, and you take it out to Lord Edgar, presumably, is the plan?
Let's give it a try then.
Okay. You give it to Edgar. He says, "Oh, excellent!" And he takes out his gold brass-colored knife and fork and start chomping into it. And he says, "Mmm!" And you can actually hear the crunching of sand grains between his teeth. And he's like, "This is even better than the last one."
Right. So.
All good here then.
Right, let's go.
No, not really. I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, we. Okay,
so
what the fuck does this mean? Is it an enchanted inn, or I don't know, some shit?
Right, so
Yeah.
since this was my experiment, I'm going to kind of stomp up to him and go, "Right, this man is clearly insane. We need to take him with us for further testing. Let's tie him up."
Oh, gosh. You're going to attempt to tie up the Lord?
Yeah.
Okay. You need to make a... what the hell? Athletics check. And it's going to be contested against the chubby Lord.
I'm going to kind of put a hand on Greg's shoulder and just say, just wait it out. See how this one plays out.
Okay, make a persuasion check as you see Greg look aghast at the manhandling of his lord. Oh,
I get to
gosh.
re-roll that. I get
You
to
do.
re-roll, I get
You're
to
a
re-roll.
halfling, so you can re-roll the 1.
Nice.
Okay,
Oh,
with
a
a 12,
man.
you see Greg seems to like strain against your hand for a second. You feel his body tense up, but he waits for a second and says, "What are you doing? Why are you trying to capture him? What has he done to you?"
Yeah, also I just realised because I'm a halfling, I can't reach his shoulder, so I've put it on kind of like his groin area, just outside of kind of really awkward range, but still not on the outside of the hip. And I'll just say, yeah, we've dealt with a lot of crazy magic stuff. Zenoi is the best in the business. Just leave him to it.
Yes. This man has terrible taste. He needs to be sectioned. I have very, very, very low standards, and it tasted awful.
Yeah, I mean, we put fucking sand in it, and he still liked it. So no one likes sand. All right, so what are we doing? Just hog tying him and taking him with us?
Yeah, Greg can carry him. Right?
Yeah, hey, you're pretty beefy.
I feel like if we drag him around, we'll almost certainly find some sort of sanitarium somewhere. If not, at least we'll be dragging a man around with us for the whole time.
Yeah,
I have a
don't see any
question.
downside to that.
What is that?
What's what,
Can
sorry?
you see my ping?
¿Qué pasa?
Can
What,
you see my ping or no?
Oh, do it one more time?
What do you think?
Okay, so
Those green thingies where I'm standing right in front of that seem to be coming from... Well, they look like really long dicks without balls.
Are you on the same map as the rest of us?
Yeah, I know, I see what you mean. Right there. There's
Yeah,
nice
kind of
big-
Oh.
here's
It looks like
here's
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu
Okay.
dicks.
Let me have a look. Yes, Zenore?
Alright, so I'm going to search this guy while he's trussed up.
Okay, you can make a investigation check. You do successfully, like, halfway through tying him. It appears to be... actually, make a history check, please, Abe. And then the investigation check is incoming from Zenere. Okay, yeah. With a 15, you recognize it. It's basically a female face, like a bust, statue, or like a piece of artwork. You're not sure what it's made out of, with snakes coming out of her head. And you recall that this is the goddess Medusa, or the sort of semi-divine creature.
Okay, that's just kebabs, no dicks.
So what, have you got that investigation check, Zenere? Or is it just... Oh, there it is. Okay, with a 15, the Lord doesn't have any weapons or anything on him. You are looking for anything in particular?
I'm looking for a knife.
You don't see any knives on the Lord, aside from the cutlery he's using to eat with.
Then I look at the cutlery that he's using to eat with.
Okay, you pick it up. It looks gold and brassy. Do you try to determine anything about it?
Yeah, can I, like, try and determine something about it? Using my extensive experience of the arcane.
Make an Arcana check.
Right. Come on, Arcana.
Okay. With an 8, you aren't sure of why, but the hand that you're holding the cutlery knife in is warmer than your other hand.
This is some trick of temperate. I shall keep this knife. And I
So
put it
the
into
Lord
my
says,
backpack.
you see the Lord half tied up at this point says, yes, take it, just untie me, take whatever you want, and give me more food.
Okay.
Hold
enough from
on.
you.
I like you tied up.
You just keep struggling vainly as a obviously rich, not very strong person.
My hand is still on Greg's waist crotch, and I just say, trust me, it's fine. I promise.
Okay, Greg's gonna make insight, which I think is wisdom. And he says, you better not hurt him. He seems quite, like, not very convincing.
All right, Greg. All right, well, I mean, so out of context, this dude, should we see if it's anything to do with, obviously it could be like cutlery, should we see if it's the inn? And maybe should we like bring him out into the street and just see what happens?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Also, we should remind him of what you asked Josa last time before we went into battle. That if we won, he would let us look at all his knives and take whichever ones we wanted.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
I'll do that.
Let's see your knives, mate.
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
Should we drag him out into the street first?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Sounds dramatic.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I'll scroll out and say, bring him into the street.
Okay, you drag the Lord out into the street, and you see Greg sort of like token follows you. Cool. You take him out onto the street. Oh, actually, only I can move that icon, so I will move the Lord's icon out here. And you see he says, not out here. There's no food for me to eat on the street.
Just eat some stones or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dickhead.
What now?
We give him a stone. Like, here is a thing.
I put a stone in his mouth.
He says, he spits it out immediately and says, this is ridiculous. Just, I mean, I appreciate you saving the town and everything, but manhandling me in this manner won't get you any more gold.
Yeah.
No,
We
now. Fine.
so we think you seem to think that all food tastes really nice. It doesn't. You're eating really bad food. We think something's going wrong. Greg here believes us, don't you, Greg?
Greg says, well, yes, my cooking is nothing special. And you hear the Lord say, of course your food is disgusting if you're eating pebbles, you ignorant peasant.
No, you're eating like...
Okay, bring out a bit of the food that was left inside and give it to him now.
Yeah.
Outside.
Okay, so you're feeding him some food from the pot.
Yeah, the sand food.
Okay, with your hands?
If I find a spoon, all the better. But if not, yeah, sure, he can lick my finger.
I think I'll say you find a spoon, you've been in and around the kitchen, you find a spoon and you feed him the mixture and he gobbles it down greedily and says, "Pah," and spits it out on the ground and says, "There's sand in this, it's bloody disgusting." Pebbles and now sand? What kind of trickery is this?
All right,
Okay,
I think we
so-
can untie him. This guy's snapped out of whatever was going on in that crazy inn. Hey, look, before we untie you real quick, you promised us, I forgot for a bit, but I've just remembered, that you would give us any knives that you owned if we slayed the bone demon. What knives have you got? Let's see them.
Well, I mean, I don't have any on me. I do recall saying that. You can try to find some in the wreck of the palace armory, but I don't have any others.
To the armory!
The armory. You can tie it up and go to the armory. All right. How do we get to the armory, and what else can we take?
It's
So
you
I've
see-
got his knife, though.
You've got the cutlery, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, you can write that on your inventory, Zenarai, as a brass cutlery knife or brass butter knife or whatever you want to call it. And
I've called it Warham and Tavern knife.
that's better. Go with that. You see Greg say, "Well, it's the same building that we fought the devil in. I believe it's in the back somewhere. The armory. It's mostly destroyed now."
Okay.
Can you lead us there?
Sure. Are you going to untie my lord?
Once we
Suppose.
get there.
No.
Do we have any knives to untie with? No, I didn't think so. Just leave him there. Okay.
Come on, Greg, goes to the armory. He's fine, he's just tied up.
Let's I make him a small pile of sand just like beside his mouth so that he's got food for the coming days.
Okay. You leave him on the ground outside the tavern with a pile of sand.
Well, I will say quickly. Hey, look, you were kind of out of it in there. What do you remember about the last sort of week or so, or however long it was since that bone devil came here?
Who do you ask?
The king. Whatever his name is.
We noticed those black stones were appearing everywhere, and some of them used to be people, members of the town. And you saw that when you explored the city. Some of the stones appear to be like people mid-stride turned to stone, similarly to the guy with a generic name that you found in the orc stronghold. And he says, after that, the devils just came out of nowhere and took over. A lot of us were killed. Greg and I were, as I said, hiding in buildings and trying to keep ahead of the devils with our knowledge of this city, and we've been holed up in this tavern for a week or two.
Okay. So nothing's changed. I was just seeing whether you would be a proper king now. You're just still a loser. Fair enough. I was surprised that the only bit of your character that changed was that you thought that food was tasty. I thought maybe it was controlling your mind in some other way, but got it.
I don't know what you mean. And Greg says, have you untied the Lord by this stage, or is he still tied up?
No, he's still tied up.
Okay. Well, I'll take the rest of you over here, and we'll leave my Lord to gather his countenance. And he leads on in the same direction.
Sweet.
Okay.
Good luck.
You go back to the room. Good luck. You hear in the distance a series of crunching and then spitting with, "It's just not the same." Okay, you see you're back here. Greg leads you to the top right quadrant. and he shows you a room, and he says, this is the antechamber to the armory. This is where the weapons were maintained and repaired. You're welcome to take whatever you can carry.
Cool.
I stand
That's incredibly
uncomfortably close to Greg.
Okay. Are you guys looking
I say,
for anything?
I just say, that sounds incredibly banal. Take us to the real armory, please. You don't have to warm us up like this.
He gestures southwards to basically a collapsed pile of rubble and says, it used to be over there.
Oh, so you took us to the promise of a place, but not an actual place.
You do notice around this place there are a number of longswords, daggers, breastplates, chainmail, shields, things of that nature that are in the process of being oiled or rehammered and things like that.
Can I check if there's anything that's adamantine or that kind of stuff?
Sure. You can make a... What on earth would this be? A perception check.
Can I do a perception check as well? Because I think we're just going to scan the
Sure.
room.
To look for anything particular? Oh, wow, with a 20.
Yay.
Abe, with a 20, you're confident that this doesn't appear to be adamantine. It's pretty reliable steel. This is a fairly small city, and from what you know of adamantine, it's a rarer substance that requires more than the average blacksmith to create.
Yeah, I thought a king would have it, but fair. Can I gather some of the stuff to sell then afterwards?
Yeah, sure. You can make an investigation check, and Joza, you wanted to look for something. You can make an investigation check to tell me what that stuff that you're looking for is.
So I've got 2 short swords. I was just seeing if there's anything, any upgrades, like a slightly nicer short sword with a plus attack or anything like that.
Okay, you can make an investigation check. Do Zenarai and Monty want to look for anything?
I want to look for some lighter armor. Something
And me
maybe
too.
leather or not too clunky.
You're also looking for that, Zenarai?
Yes, I'd like to find some light armor, ideally.
Okay.
Very nice dagger.
Okay, you find 6 daggers. So do Abe. The daggers are pretty easy to lay hands on. I also want to clarify, I don't think sorcerers can wear armor. So I'm going to try to determine that for you now. Oh, sorry, warlocks might be able to.
So I can use
light
light
armor, yeah. You're right, my mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. In that case, let's do this one at a time. So,
Good rolls around.
Abe, with a 15 investigation, you find 6 daggers, 2 long swords, 1 shield. I think it's just a standard shield. You also find a suit of chainmail, 2 suits of leather armor, 1 suit of studded leather armor. And Joza, you see more or less the same thing, except you miss the studded leather armor, which was like under some fallen rubble. Monty, you see the longswords and the daggers and the chainmail, because it's quite obvious, but you miss out on seeing the other things, but Abe could probably point it out to you. And Zenarai, you get distracted sort of looking at your reflection in the shield and checking to make sure everything is well groomed.
Oh, good.
But I listed all the things that were there, so it's pretty easy for Abe to direct the discoveries to the rest of you.
Direct me. I want something that doesn't make a fucking racket when I move around in it.
Then stay away from the chainmail. The leather being over there. That
Cool.
might fit.
I realized that earlier I took off my proper armor in probably frustration, and that now I'm pretty much nude.
Well, now you have leather. That's good.
What's the are we able to see the stats of the leather and the studded leather, or is that we have to go to someone to?
You can put it in your equipment on D&D Beyond. Studded leather armor and leather armor will come up as recognizable items.
So it was the leather armor, the chainmail, the studded leather armor, the 6 daggers.
Mhm.
Was there anything else?
2 long swords and a shield.
Excellent. Is the shield any good? Or it's just like a regular old shield?
It looks regular. You can make an Arcana check to determine if it has any other properties.
Do you want the studded, Joza?
Well, so I've got leather armor at the moment, which is 11 AC, and studded is 12. So if you've got nothing, then you take the studded.
Okay, fair. I was going to say, I thought, since you're all up in the fighting a little bit more than I am, I don't mind if you take the studded and I just take some normal leather.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. I'll take the studded, you take some leather.
Sweet.
Bad.
I mean, I'm the kind of guy that once they start wailing on me, I'm going down anyway, so...
What's your AC?
War 14, so this will up it by 1.
Okay.
My arcana is shit, so I'm guessing it's a normal shield.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. With a 9 arcana, yeah, you don't sense any arcane aura coming off of this thing, and you've got the Mace of Warning, so you've got a kind of comparison for what a arcane infused item looks like, and the Mace of Warning is much more embellished. It's got like crystals embedded in the hilt, and it's all kind of curves, and like the designer was clearly showing off, whereas the shield is much more function over form.
Okay, guys, anyone wants a shield? Or needs a shield?
Nah.
Okay.
Okay.
You notice in this room that the sun is well and truly set, and it's getting quite difficult to see things. Greg helpfully lights a candle behind you and holds it high up while you're rummaging.
Yeah,
Thank you, Greg. You're incredibly helpful.
Real quick, by the way, guys, we all get 100 gold apart from Abe, who gets 50.
Yeah, sick. Is that each, or is it 100 divided?
Each. You've got 400 total.
Oh,
So-
sick.
I think
Tight man thing.
I want to check. I think Abe has a cool thing. Doesn't Abe have an aura of something? Oh no, aura of protection. You grant all friendly creatures, including you, within 10 feet, a +2 bonus to all saving throws. So whenever you make a saving throw within 10 feet of Abe, for example, during a battle, you can add 2 to the result.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
Oh
sweet.
wow! And you also have the aura of warding. So you and friendly creatures within 10 feet of you have resistance to damage from spells. It's crazy.
Abe is getting gripped.
Yeah,
Sweet.
I'm surprised that they're both active at the same time. Let me see how they came about. Anyone that wants to ask something can do that. I'm just double checking these auras.
Shall we try and find somewhere safe to sleep soon, guys? I'm feeling a little sleepy.
Yeah, what do we reckon's going on with the king? I mean, it might be quite good to be friends with a king. He sort of owes us now. Maybe we should make sure he doesn't get eaten by zombies.
I'd like to be friends with a king, but I'd like to be friends with one who isn't all fucked up. I wish we could fix him. Yeah, he was better outside. Maybe we can take him back to his chambers here, back to the palace, install him back in his home, and maybe that will bring him back to his true self.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Okay, shall we saunter back over to the inn once Sam and Sheila are happy?
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I'm happy. I'm the DM, but yes, I'm quite content. Oh, you mean I was going through the auras and stuff? Yeah, they can both be active at the same time. So whenever you're hit with a spell, basically, and you're within 10 feet of Abe, you get to halve the damage. And whenever you make a saving throw within 10 feet of Abe, you add 2 to the saving throw.
Jeez.
Shit, that spell one is insane.
Yeah. And when you look at Abe from the corner of your eye, you see these like waves of condensation sort of wafting off of their form. And then when you look closely, you can't see it. It's only out of the corner of your eye that you can see it.
I want to be that cool one day.
Get it? Cool. You want to go back to the tavern, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. In that case, you return to the inn, or the exterior of the inn, and see the Lord lying on his side, still tied up hurriedly by Zenarai, and snoring loudly. Me, 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 me.
You lazy fucking cunt.
Saw that stand. Put him to sleep. So walk over and just kick him in the ribs, but gently.
says, oh, you're back. Please untie me. I'm so hungry.
All right,
Of
fine.
course, we left you with some of that sand you like. Why are you so hungry?
I didn't think there was sand that I was eating before.
I think
You
we
couldn't
must be such an annoying group to DM for, because whenever you make something really obvious, all of us just deliberately ignore it and do the opposite.
What did I make very obvious?
You've just given us so many clues about like what's going on with the king and like him thinking food's good in the inn and not, and we're just pretending we don't.
Well, no, it's good. I mean, to be honest, it's more what's the word? It's more realistic for your characters to
Yeah, true.
struggle in this manner, because they wouldn't have the benefit of hearing what I say.
Yeah, true.
Very true.
I consider it very entertaining. Let's put it that way.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. On a very dull and practical note, you got any beds in this joint? I ask him.
He says, yes. I mean, there's a number of beds on the upper floor.
Will they make us all weird and fucked up like you if we sleep in them?
How dare you? I'm not fucked up. I enjoy excellent food. You can sleep in them, yes?
You eat sand. You eat sand.
You say that, but I don't believe you.
I remember this. I get out a jar of pickled brine water from my pack.
Yeah.
And I feed a little bit to him while he's outside the inn.
Okay. He seems to accept it, hoping for more nourishment, and he says, salty, pleasant, better than the sand, definitely. Quite nice.
Put some sand in it.
Yeah, let's put some sand in. This guy's plainly desperate.
He refuses to taste it, because being next to the sand, lying on the ground for that long, has clearly caused him to develop an animosity.
I kick the sand into his face.
Ow! Ow! Disgusting.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I mean, I think me and my friends were thinking about maybe taking a lie down, somewhere comfortable. Do you like to lie down out here? I take it you do. So we'll just see you here, right? Like we'll go.
No,
take a rest
untie me.
and,
I'm both tired and hungry.
You're really tired. That's good. That means you're comfortable. That means you. Yeah, good.
Greg bends
let's
down
go.
and starts untying the Lord.
I kick Greg in the chest.
No,
You can make an unarmed strike if you like.
no, Greg.
Greg's also wearing full plate armor, so this is going to be quite an interesting check. Oh, goodness. You basically kick the back of his breastplate, and it makes a gong sound. And Greg says, "Stop that! Now, Lord, quick, run! Hide in the bedroom! Hide!"
All right, time for magic.
I'm gonna put my hand on Greg's crotch again and say, really, we're just, it's a weird group dynamic. We're actually all friends. It might not seem that way, but yeah, you'll learn to love us.
Okay, you can make a persuasion check, and Zenarai can cast whatever spell as the Lord is running into the double doors of this tavern.
Fine. Did he untie him?
Well, I mean, it didn't take very long. You only spent like 30 seconds tying him up. It's just a case of unraveling it, right?
Shit. Okay, I'm going to cast Minor Illusion on the sand pile
Uh-huh.
and turn it into the body of the Lord.
Okay. And what? Hope to distract Greg?
Greg, look, he's
tied up,
back.
the tied up body of the Lord. Yeah.
Okay.
And say, hi, it was a trick all along.
And whom is this directed at? Just so I know who is making the check.
I suppose it's directed at Greg, but I guess it's more of a kind of a pastiche to what's happening.
Okay. All right. I just want to see I want to see how plausible it is. So perception, intelligence. Oh no, investigation.
Pastiche check.
Okay, with an 8, you see Greg say, "What? You cloned my lord? How did you achieve this?" And he goes over to the minor illusion and his hands go through it and he says, Oh, I see. More witchery. Go, Lord, run!
I kick him in the chest again.
Okay, make another unarmed strike. Also, technically, Joseph, Monty, Zenarai, and Abe could all take attacks of opportunity on the Lord if they wanted to as he tries to run away.
No, I'm more about this guy.
Natural 20. Okay, so you managed to kick Greg in the sort of gap in his armor where his neck is. So you can roll, I think... Oh, wow. You can roll a d4 to determine how much damage it does.
Damage him, I just want to, like...
Oh, what were you hoping for him to do?
Oh, I just wanted to knock him down.
Oh, okay. All right, in that case, I'll get... Well, with a natural 20, yeah. Greg overbalances and falls on the ground and says, "Oh, clang, clang, clang. This is undignified, but at least I have done my duty."
Where's Gahat Balachis in all this?
Oh, yeah, that's an excellent question. I think I must have lost his icon. Let me just see if I can retrieve it.
Very important question.
He's been like riding on the back of Dave the whole time.
I humbly apologize. Wow.
Having their own little
What likes happening?
B plot.
Where did I put him? No, that's not. Oh, you turned him into a spider. That's what you did to him.
Yeah, that was it. That's what it is, yeah.
I didn't recognize his icon. Okay, he's right here. This is what he
cool.
looks like. He makes the sound like. All right, what's up?
So I'd like him now that Greg's on the floor to run up and stand on his chest and go nang 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 nang.
Okay, he does that, and Greg says, "No, Greg's gonna make a. What's this gonna be? It's gonna be insight. So that's wisdom insight. 11. He says, "Nobody move, but there's a deadly spider right here. I'll take care of him. No one move. Everyone stay still."
Okay, Greg. You got this. Joseph's gonna just walk into the inn and see where the king is.
Greg doesn't actually do anything as you continue to leave. You see the king running up the second staircase to the presumably sleeping quarters.
Oh yeah, we never went up there. I'll follow him.
Okay. You see him disappear around the corner into the hallway above. You follow and you see 3 doors on either side of the hallway, 6 doors in total. And you see the doorway closest on the left to you close. And you hear it lock, go click.
I walk back downstairs.
Okay, you walk back downstairs. You only wanted to go up there to harass the Lord?
Yeah, pretty much. Make sure he wasn't causing trouble, but he's locked in a room, so he'll be fine.
Okay, you walk back outside, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay,
See
you see Greg still frozen, unmoving on the ground with the spider standing on top of him.
Okay. I'm going to go up to the bedroom where the Lord is, and I'm going to start whispering through the keyhole and saying, you, come on, let me in. Let me in, friend. You really want to let us in, don't you? I will give you our long-standing devotion and friendship. And I cast Fast Friends on him.
Weren't you out of friends? Oh, you leveled up. Yeah,
I leveled up. I've got 4th level friends.
That sounds fine.
Which is really excessive.
Okay. So what does that mean?
What
check does he have to make?
He has to make a Wisdom 14 check.
Wisdom saving throw?
Yep. Wisdom 14 saving throw.
Yeah, he fails, and he says, he opens the door, you hear it click, and he says,
"Nice.
Ah, finally, a nice one of you. What would you like to do? I'm hungry. Do you have any food?"
I'm afraid I don't have any food. I tried some of your food earlier, and I fear it may not be as nice as you feel it is. Has there been, was there ever a time when you didn't like this food?
Maybe
so much.
Give him the juice again, see if he likes it now. With sand in it.
Also, what's the duration on Fast Friends? Can you just give me a heads up?
1 hour.
Okay, cool. You give him the brine juice?
Yeah, delicious brine juice. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, he tastes it and says, "Oh, thank you. Yeah, salty. It's okay. It's not as good as the other food. When did I start tasting this food? Is that what you asked?
Yes, it sounds like, have you always liked the food you've eaten at this inn?
Yes, I have. It's always been amazing. I don't know what it is. Greg's preparation or the safety of not being eaten by devils, but I've just found it amazing.
Okay. You got any knives in your room?
If only we could work out what's going on.
Yeah.
You see him say, no, other than the cutlery I've been eating with, I don't keep knives on my person. That sounds like a thing.
It couldn't possibly be that.
No, I don't think so.
It's just simple cutlery.
So when did you meet this Greg fellow? How far do you two go back?
Well, he was a nameless face in the palace guard up until the time when the devils took over. I got to know him when he and I fled the castle together. I had no idea how he survived.
You ever think he might be, putting the moves on you?
Okay, he's gonna make an insight check. No, Greg is a loyal companion of mine. I've always felt his conduct to be above reproach. You see Greg is still on the ground saying, "Can someone kick this thing off of me?"
So I've decided how I'm going to torture Greg.
Okay.
So if you have a little look at that, if you create a sound, its volume can range from a whisper to a scream. It can be your voice, someone else's voice, a lion's roar, blah, 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 blah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Minor Illusion on Greg's brain, so that he hears within his own mind, his own voice screaming at him all the worst fears that he's ever had in his life.
Okay.
And as that happens, I'm going to stand over him behind the spider and start slapping him.
And start slapping him?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, he's got to make a... What kind of check? Intelligence, investigation? No. I'm going to say it's a wisdom save. And he's going to make it against your DC. What's your DC? It'll be your typical spell save DC in the spell tab.
The saving throws.
No. It's in the spells tab of where all your spells are listed. And at the top of that tab, it says like attack bonus, spell save DC, stuff like that.
15.
15. Okay, he's going to make a wisdom saving throw. And because he's a knight, he has the brave feature. So he has advantage on saving throws against being frightened.
What a dick.
Cunt.
Yeah, he resists and suddenly feels a burst of courage as he leaps to his feet, knocking the spider off of him and says, "Give up on your foul tricks. I will not be deceived this day."
Well, I say.
And then he's going to try and storm inside.
I'm going to let him.
Okay. He storms up the stairs and sees Monty talking to his lord and says, I didn't realize that you two were close. Are you okay, my lord? And Edgar says, "Yes, we're just having a nice chat. The water's a bit salty, but, otherwise." And Greg's going to continue down the hallway and stand defensively. Anyone that else wants to do things other than the fast that's taking place, please feel free to let me know.
Should we have a long rest? Should we rest up? And everyone seems to be pretty chill. There's no zombies or anything.
Abe, what was that?
I'm just checking my spells to see if I have something that can show us if there's anything going on around here, but I'm not having much luck with it.
Sorry, you're attempting to make a spell cast? Sorry, Ash, what? I didn't hear the end of what you said.
No, I'm just checking if I have a spell that can show us if there's magic in the place or something like that, but I'm coming up short.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, Monty, just before you say the thing that you're going to say, you see Gahak Balachas crawl up the stairs towards you. You see the Lord go, "Ah!" and takes a step back, and the spider comes up to your shoulder and speaks in your ear that Zenrai is going to burn the inn down.
Good sir, I have it on good authority that you may want to leave this inn and maybe restore yourself in your previous lodgings. Don't worry about Greg. He'll follow you wherever, he's a sycophant. So maybe you should come with me this way.
Oh,
I
okay.
lead
That
him
sounds
down
like
the
a
stairs.
great idea. And he follows you.
Okay. I was going to get him to do something that is very, very incompatible with Zenarai's threat. What do I do?
You're standing outside the inn now. It doesn't take long, so you can ask him something now.
So I'm hankered over like a very small pile of straw with
Okay.
two rocks of flint that I'm banging together really unsuccessfully.
Okay, well, make a survival
Zenarai,
check.
A what?
Make a survival check, and Ash, Monty can say what he was going to say.
I say, Zenarai, I feel like this inn may provide one of the only safe havens for rest within the local environs. How about we burn it down after we've slept?
The pile of straw that you're hunkered down over immediately bursts into flames.
Oh, God.
It is a very small pile of straw, to be fair. It's like, what, Bearman? I will kill them all. I mean, oh shit, he's outside. Is that Greg guy still up there?
No, he came down with the Lord and is standing beside him like 10 feet away.
So I say, for fuck's sake, so I stamp out the burning flame.
Oh, wow.
You all come outside. It's getting quite dark by this point. You can see barely 5 feet in front of you.
Whew, okay. I mean, how about we take a rest? I mean, I was wondering if I could take the Lord on a little trip of the kitchen while we're such good friends. Yeah, like maybe, Lord, do you want to go cook yourself a little late night snack, Lord?
Oh, I don't do the cooking. That's what Greg is for.
Well, what if you were to just, try a little something out? A little omelette, something nice and easy. I can help you.
Okay, make a persuasion check with advantage. Maybe a little bit of working on. How's that novel you've been working on? Been working on that for 3 months ago.
Okay, good advantage. Let's please
Maybe
use
a
that
little
advantage.
protagonist. Okay, with a 14, he says, "Oh yes, well, I suppose it couldn't hurt." And he walks listlessly back in towards the kitchen.
Don't worry, I've got a really good cooking montage theme. I'll crack the eggs for you, and we'll have a great old time.
I start eyeing the flint stones.
Okay, you eye them. Edgar goes into the kitchen and looks confusedly around from the center of the room, if anyone is there to see it.
I show him how to make an omelette.
Okay. You can make what would that be? A teaching performance check, and
Like a really romantic teaching montage.
Yeah.
Like behind, like taking his hands in your hands.
okay, so at this point, you all take a point of exhaustion, which means that you have disadvantage on all ability checks.
Oh dear God.
So if you're going to make that performance check, you need to make it with disadvantage. Okay, you already... Oh no, one more performance check.
Done. It's already done.
Oh, is it? I only see persuasion.
It should be a performance. Performance 12?
Yeah, but
that
you
not
need to make
coming
it with disadvantage. So that means you do it twice,
sorry.
yeah.
I made it from the before times, before you said that. So I thought I
yes.
got away with it.
Well, I mean, it's more fun if you do it with disadvantage, to be honest. Okay. Oh, yeah, with a 3,
yes, it is.
you don't really have much cooking experience. You're more of a wild hunter and gatherer, forager type person. So you basically crack the eggs into your muzzle and just lick the juices out. And so you see the Lord Edgar does the same thing, smashes the egg on his face and tries to lick out the insides.
Sweet. Okay, and then I'm just going to supervise him as he cooks it. I'm going to show him how to put it in. And then I'm going to make him taste it.
You're basically like those people that come home from a big night on the booze and try to drunkenly cook themselves a snack because you're so tired. It's just like, oh, and then we'll put that in the fry pan. And you have something resembling a burnt pancake by the end of it.
Sweet. And now I'm going to watch the Lord as I ask him to eat it and see the delicious concoction he's made with his own hands.
Okay, he eats it and goes, ugh, and kind of it dribbles out of his mouth, and he says, "This is not as good as Greg's cooking."
Damn it! This wasn't my plan!
What exactly was your plan?
To show him how he didn't need Greg anymore.
Oh, that's
I
complex.
thought everything in this kitchen was delicious.
You don't really... I mean, based on what you heard previously when you first came in here after defeating the Bone Devil, you don't particularly think that Edgar is... I mean, he respects Greg's cooking, but he didn't seem overly attached to him. He seems to think of him as like a helper.
Hey, I'm gonna walk in at this point. I'm gonna ride in on the back of Dave.
Okay.
Just because I don't do that enough. I'm gonna say, hey Edgar, what are you gonna do now? Now that your city is bone devil-less, there's still like some weird green shit everywhere. But you know, what's the next week for Edgar look like?
Oh, I'm not sure. I was hoping Greg would do the heavy lifting, you know, knock over those black stones, see if we can get rid of the glowing cracks of greenness. Try to rebuild the throne room, check on the farms north, east of here, the vassal states, see how they're doing agriculturally speaking. Perhaps they haven't been giving their taxes recently because the place has been overcome by green cracks and mist, you know, the typical duties of maintaining a fiefdom.
What about like the people who lived here?
Well, they're mostly dead. That's why I wanted to check on the vassals. We're going to have to repopulate the city using the outlying peasants, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it seems to me that like just a small band of ragtag mercenaries could pretty much dethrone you quite easily.
Well, they could now. They couldn't before. We had countless palace guards and militia that kept peace in the city, but they're all dead.
They're dead, yes, they're all dead now, and now you have no guards. I just start thinking out loud, you know, Edgar, thinking out loud.
That is a worrying thought.
Edgar, good friend, Edgar. Good friend. Have you seen any other adventurers around these parts recently?
I mean, a couple of months ago, there was a group of what you might call adventurers that burned down the curio shop. We haven't tracked them down yet, though.
Yes, I heard they were twats too. So you're actively seeking them, are you, to punish them?
We were, but up until recently, we had bigger fish to fry. Now I suppose we can resume the search. But again, I need to retrain militia. I need to repopulate the city. Is there anything else that you need before, you know, moving on to other things?
I think we need to rest. We definitely need to rest.
Let's leave this poor man alone and go to sleep.
We're desperately scraping the barrel of this man's mind.
His character is a lot more fleshed out than it was at the beginning of the session.
Well, I mean, like, realistically, unless we want to kill him, dispose him, and take over his dying city, then I think he's done.
Yeah, he's just a husk of a man, husk of an NPC.
Just leave him to his poorly seasoned eggs.
Okay.
Joe's just gonna tickle Dave and say, "All right, bedtime."
You see Greg standing defensively by the bar, watching you guys through the door that leads to the kitchen as you come out on Dave and presumably head for the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say if you're all intending to have a long rest, you can do that now. If you want to set watches outside of your tavern room doors, you're more than welcome to.
Nah, seems legit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
We're about to be attacked.
Yeah, good point. Mace of warning. We're all right.
That's
we're
true.
all
Yeah, but
sleeping
also.
Hmm?
Sorry, Sheila.
No, I was just saying that if we're all sleeping nearby, the Maze of Warning should be able to keep us on alert and away from attacks of surprise.
I also
Yep, that's
want
true.
Greg to spend the night sat outside the inn on watch.
Okay, make a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, that's a good point. Get him to do his shit.
Oh, yeah. And Greg
Oof.
says, Zenarai, that's a surprisingly good idea. Despite what we went through earlier, I'll do just that. Good thinking.
Glad you could see reason, Greg. I will leave my dear Gehek Balachis just out of your field of vision for the entire night.
Okay, then. I'll see you in the morning.
And by the way, he's extremely poisonous.
Is he?
Well, I imagine you wouldn't want to find out. It's just fucking do your job.
But let's find. No, that's not me as him talking. I'm asking as the DM. What are the stats?
Oh, sorry. No, he's not.
Okay. Make a deception check with advantage because he's been previously traumatized
okay.
by the spider. It was just to determine whether it was going to be deception or persuasion, basically. Oh yeah, with a 19, he takes a step back and says, "Wouldn't you be better off with him in your room?" No, I'll just take this torch, and he grabs a candle that he brought from the armory and says, "I'll keep an eye out for him as well."
So yes, you're very correct, Greg. I definitely wouldn't want the mortally poisonous spider in my room.
He just silently looks from left to right into the darkness. And you can all roll your long rest on D&D Beyond, and it should do some of it, but you might have to check that it replenished everything, like spell slots, HP, and if you have any magic items that recover charges, then that happens in the morning.
Yeah, that's all good.
Nice.
Nice.
Tight.
Sheila, how many HPs have you got?
76.
Jesus.
Oof.
Wicked.
Oh yeah, you've all lost your... technically you wouldn't have had advantage on those checks, but because I forgot, we'll let them stand, because you had exhaustion, so they would be normal checks. But now you all have lost your point of exhaustion, so you're back to normal.
Okay. Sweet.
Excelente.
Alright, I think Joseph be first to rise, because he's just a woodsman. He's not used to sleeping in comfy beds.
Like a short Aragorn.
Exactly. Yeah, he kind of sat in the window smoking a pipe all night. I'm going to stroll downstairs and see if there's any like espresso, coffee, or anything.
Okay. Make an investigation
Make
check
some-
in the kitchen, I assume.
Cappuccinos.
Nice.
Let's see.
Okay. With a 6, you discover a small pot of like a dark brown, purplish, powdery substance that you think might be coffee.
Yeah, boil it up.
Okay. You boil it up and take a sip. It tastes like lemon, and you realize that this is probably sumac.
What is sumac?
It's a lemon savory spice.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make like 3 more and bring them up to the lads.
Okay. It's kind of like having a Red Bull for breakfast.
It's really odd. I was watching MasterChef earlier, and it was like the first reference to sumac I'd heard in ages, and I was like, I wish I could remember what that is. So thank you.
You're welcome.
There you go.
You distribute the sumac cups to everyone who has various experiences with it that they can announce if they choose.
It's really good.
Nice. I
Really
set
peppy.
myself up on real peppy. I sort of guzzle it down as I set my seeds out on the bar and light some incense and do my prayers.
Okay, give me a religion check.
Yeah, I feel like waking up in a bar is kind of like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It does feel like that. Okay, with a 19 religion check, you notice the seeds form clusters and several shapes that resemble very strongly your augury materials that you purchased a little while ago. And you think, that's strange. Because I think it requires like gem bones or something like that.
Inlaid gemstone. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I mean, guys, I could probably tell us something about our general quest and what we mean to do if we were to have a strong intention in one direction. I mean, I guess our strong intention would be finding this goddamn piped up butter knife.
If only we could.
Is there anything else we're looking to do?
We were in possession of a magical knife.
I drink the sumac tea.
Just in silence, all thinking but coming to no conclusions. Yeah, I mean, so right, we're on a quest. We've been sent to find a knife. We ended up killing this bone devil. We've got the skull of a halfling with the sign on it. That'll come in useful at some point. Next step, I guess, is heading back to Orpheus. I mean, we picked up a few knives along the way. I guess we could see whether your ghost, god, spirits, you can tell us where's the next objective. You know, is there a location that we should head towards?
What do your seeds say?
So my seeds are suggesting revelation and omen. I feel like we need to have a plan as to what we intend to do to find this knife, and then maybe we can be visited by some advice from the gods. How do we want to find this knife?
We don't even know what it looks like, do we?
Just that it looks not remarkable in any way. I mean, I could generally ask my gods about what were to happen if we do find this knife for Orpheus. I could go that general, but I must say I don't know quite how this spell works, but from my reading of it, we would need to say something like that.
Does it have? Have you got one use per long rest?
I would have a couple of uses. I think. Where's that? Yeah, I've got a couple of uses. I've got the materials for a couple of uses. Essentially, I can ask about the results of a course of action that we plan to take.
Okay.
So, but you see, as in like an open-ended question, like where is the knife? I would not be able to get an answer from my gods. But if we had some sort of hypothesis or course of action, then I could find out how that would go, for example, or how close that is.
So maybe perhaps we can ask if we would find the knife in a certain place.
Can we?
Or what about what happens if we side with Orpheus or Asmo?
That's also good.
Yeah. Also with Asmo.
Well, so he wants us to find the deck of cards, sort of contrary to plans, doesn't he? Told us not to trust Orpheus.
Yeah. Okay.
So because we haven't.
You can ask what would happen if we side with Orpheus and what would happen if we side with
Asmo. Yeah. I think that makes sense. I mean, also, like, we have Orpheus. We're in Orpheus's good graces because of our amazing dream combat. So, I mean, Okay, yeah. Let's ask.
Something we haven't done is go back to Asmo if we can find him. He teleported, didn't we? So we don't know where he is. We haven't tried to find him again and say, hey, look, we've been sent to find a knife. What do you know about that?
We could do that.
Well, we don't know where he is, though. We followed him up a tower and then he disappeared.
Well, I imagine we could go back to the same tower.
By the way, asno means burro. It's the same as burro, so the same as ass, the animal, donkey in Spanish. So every time I hear someone saying asno, I just instantly picture a donkey.
Nice.
So I apologize for my weird faces when you say asno the first time. I'm just like, what? Why are we talking about a donkey? But yeah, and I remember it's.
That's amazing.
Okay, so I think the first thing I'll ask the spirits is what will happen if we set out to find this knife for Orpheus in this city?
Okay, can you give me the text of the spell so I can double check?
Yeah, you'll see why I'm wording things or talking about things in a weird way. So you receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then we kind of get positives or negatives.
The results of a specific course of action that you plan to take.
So it's quite specific.
Oh wow.
So essentially, if we were to set out to bring this knife back for Orpheus, how will that go for us?
Okay, such as casting or loss again of companion. If you cast the spell 2 or more times, cleaning your nose, there's a collective chance for each casting to get a random read. Wow. That's interesting.
Cool.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna be a little fast and loose with this. So what was your wording again?
So my wording is, wait, again, sorry, I want to read it. Receive an omen. Okay. So, oh gods, can you please give us an omen for if we are to pursue finding this knife for Orpheus, please, in this here city?
For what would happen if you pursued the knife for Orpheus in the city?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll say you used seeds because it gives you a couple of examples of what you can use. You lay out the seeds, you
Always seeds.
use the gem-encrusted materials, and you watch the seeds take shape. And similarly to your prayer this morning, they start to form shapes. The first shape is the shape of a small knife. It doesn't look particularly remarkable. The next shape is the shape of like a horn. It's like a curved, tapered, pointed object. And then the third shape is kind of a swirling spiral. And you get an overall sense of weal and woe for both good and bad results.
So this swirl here, folks, I point to my seeds. I wonder, we've obviously seen things teleport quite a lot, like in this area, and this feels like maybe we should investigate the area where the demon teleported, or maybe try to find some sort of arcane pathway, perhaps, I'm thinking.
Okay.
What about the horn?
The horn, I mean,
It could
Greg-
be like the horns where you just blow, or a powder pouch.
yeah, Greg made us all feel pretty horny. That's the thing. Yeah, I wonder whether we need to maybe bear this in mind and set about looking for an item like this that maybe will give us entry or access to.
It
Make
could also be like.
Go on, Sheila.
No, I was going to say it could also be those places where they announce kings and that kind of thing, because it's like the trumpet and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Ma-
Do I recognize this horn?
Make a history check.
Okay.
And make it with advantage, because I mean, this is an
Ooh.
augury
Ooh.
that communicates with you. Oh, wow. You're not going to roll better than a natural. With a natural 20, you recall that it has a very similar silhouette to the sort of quill-shaped thing that Orpheus was riding with when you got to the top of the tower.
Oh, sick. Quill, you say?
Well, it's quill-shaped, but when you saw it, it didn't look like a quill. It just had that vague
No.
look.
So he was writing with an implement that was like hooked.
Yeah, like a curved, tapered implement that looked a bit bizarre.
He was writing on parchment.
Yes, on his like chaise longue.
Well, the only thing, well, not the only thing, but one thing we've seen that's related to that is the skull, obviously, which I'm still in possession of. But don't see how that factors into this situation, but maybe that is a key of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Maybe we should check that out then.
So sorry, I was out of the room actually at the time. Did the skull come from like the insides of the dragon or something, or like with the demon? Sorry.
Didn't he have it?
Yeah, it was just sort of in the rubble of the remains, or on the. Basically, it was on the dragon, attached to it, and it just kind of came off, and it was the skull of a halfling, with the with that quill and whatever logo on it, scratched into the forehead, and it's the skull we think of a halfling from my tribe.
Okay. I mean, I wonder, shall we just explore this town more? Because I feel like we've been to 2 buildings, and there's a hell of a lot in this town. Like, let's just like, we know what we're looking for now. Like, let's go
Find it?
go find it.
That's exactly what we should do. Yeah, I was gonna...
It's almost like that's exactly what we should have done after this boss. Yes. Okay. Should we go out to this street? I seem to remember there being a street with many shop entrances near this inn.
Yeah.
Okay, let
Let's keep an
me
eye
copy
on
that. Sorry, you
So
want to do...
spiral 4. We'd like to go to the street from which we first accessed this tavern. So I think it's where Joseph jumped over.
on the other side of the jumping over bit. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think we got to the tavern from that street.
Okay, cool. You went down a bit, so I'm going to say...
Well, so the tavern was in a street past that jumped over block of rubble.
Yeah,
and there
exactly.
was other doors in that street as well, which we didn't look at.
Precisely.
Exactly.
All right, so I will show you that map momentarily. That. Okay, and you haven't seen hide nor hair of the Lord, who's presumably still sleeping, but as you exit the building, the tavern, you see Greg still standing there watchfully, holding a torch that's no longer necessary, looking for the spider. He's got dark circles under his eyes, and he says, "Oh, is it morning?" And it's plainly daylight.
Get some rest, Greg.
Oh, that's a good idea. And he sort of stumbles listlessly back inside.
That guy's such
We
a
appreciate
dickhead.
your efforts.
All
So
right.
you came from the west. This area, like down that street, is where the tavern is, and you've come down here to this sort of intersection.
I throw a little east side gang sign at Joseph and see what he says.
Yeah, throw it back, obviously. And proceed that way. On the back of Dave. So I'm going to walk to this crossroads. Can I do a perception check to see what I see about these other doorways?
Sure. Make a perception check. Okay, with a 7. You are able to notice only the basic sort of things. You notice this doorway to the west of you, as soon as you come to this T-junction, looks to be damaged, like it's barely holding together. The doorway in front of you, the 2 doorways in front of you to the south, don't appear to be as damaged. And the one to the east is kind of fine. It might just be in ill repair. It's hard to tell.
Okay. Start kicking down doors. What do you reckon, guys?
Kicking down doors,
Yeah.
feeling this one.
Yeah. I'll kick down this one.
The
The
one that
one
was broken, yeah.
on the west. Okay.
I think so.
You kick the door down. Inside, you see a small abode, very small. It has basically a table with 2 chairs, a fireplace, a sort of kitchen preparation area, and like a storeroom door. And what was the other door getting kicked down? This one on the east?
Yeah.
Okay. Inside of that, you see a slightly nicer, but you wouldn't really have seen the other one to compare it. Come on, just reveal tool. A slightly more, maybe like an artisan's residence. It's got another storeroom door here. You've got a desk that looks like tools are being oiled, and another door leading further north into this building. Who wants to do what?
I want to throw down this one over there, where I'm standing. See if there's anything inside that one.
Mm-hmm. You open that
Inside
door.
that place.
Inside. Okay, let me see if this will work now. There's another modest residence, a little bit larger. Some sort of laborer presumably works here, as the clothes strewn about the place, not very tidily, appear pretty like heavy duty and hard wearing.
I'm going to shout out from the street. If you find anything, just shout, and then I'm going to kick down this door and find it.
Sweet.
Okay. You kick down the door. Inside, you see a much more functional room. It looks to be a storeroom kind of thing. You see an enormous barrel to the east side of the room. And then you notice that you're in the back side of what appears to be a small tavern. You can see like the back side of the bar. You're essentially behind the bar.
Can I check for objects where I am?
Sorry, 1 second. What did Joseph say?
Oh, no.
And Abe, what did you say?
If I can check for objects in the place I'm in.
Okay. You can make. Are you looking for any particular object?
Well, knives to start with, or
Okay.
anything that is like a spiral or a horn.
Okay. You can make an investigation check.
Investigation is shit, so I apologize.
Oh wow. Okay.
Ooh,
With a natural 1, you get a little distracted by the glowing coals of the fire to the east of you that somehow are still glowing, even though it doesn't look like anyone's here. And you start warming yourself by the fire and forget all about your search. Or at least.
Guys, there's fire in here! I found embers!
Does anyone else want to jump?
Sick! I shout over my shoulder as I barge into my room,
Okay.
really aggressively, just shouting about knives and stuff.
Okay. You come into the room and yell a lot.
Yep. And then I stop yelling.
Cool. Monty?
I'm going to search all the tables and shelves and the areas in general for anything either valuable or interesting.
Okay, make an investigation check. Okay. With a 12, you uncover another container of sumac. It must be a regional delicacy. You find some loose pieces of parchment, some sort of fur clothing for cold weather, and that's about it.
I'm definitely adding sumac to my inventory.
Nice.
Okay.
This reminds me of a bit in like Fallout 3 where people go into buildings and just keep clicking on everything to pick up items.
That's exactly what it is. I'm going to roll an investigation check in my...
Okay.
Oh, wait, so what's in the... Well, I want to see what's in this big barrel.
Okay. You can easily turn on the tap and see what it contains.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. It contains a very dark liquid. Do you taste it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. It tastes like a dark ale, like a Guinness-style drink, a stout, clearly.
Oh, baby. I'm going to just cup some into my mouth.
Okay. It tastes delightful.
Take a few delicious mouthfuls of beer.
The tasting notes are oak, cream, and sage. Surreal stout.
Sage. Oh, God. Beautiful. I'm checking my equipment. Have I got... Can I just? I'm gonna get my bag of holding out and just
Fill it up.
And put the beer in the bag of holding?
I quite want to. How? Bag of holding is like infinite depth, right?
Well, it's not infinite, but it does transport it elsewhere to be stored.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, you get a few gallons in that.
You can hold up to 500 pounds.
Yeah, that'd fit tons.
Yeah, let's make some fucking money, yo.
How much do you reckon this whole like oak cask weighs?
Oh, the car it probably contains about. Make an intelligence check. Okay, with a 7, you'd guess 70 gallons.
Gallons. Oh, wait, I obviously know. So I will. Yeah, I'm just gonna fill her up.
Okay, you put. You can write down in your inventory. An amount of dark ale in your bag of holding. Because you rolled a 7. Yeah, what was that, Zenrai?
I'm going to come sprinting in and start chanting, beer a sack, beer a sack, beer a sack.
Beer sack, beer sack. You hear from across the street.
Abe, you hear a hum of coming from the east wall.
Okay, so bag of holding notes is full of beer. Full of 500 pounds of beer.
I've often wondered what would happen with this, actually, because the bag of holding, you put your hand in and you sort of state what you want, and then the bag retrieves it for you if you have it. But that's quite a broad phrasing. I've always wondered what it could do. Like, we discussed this with one of my other groups, actually. Like, if you put an apple in the bag of holding, and then you put your hand in and say, apple seeds, will it, like, extract the seeds and just give you the seeds?
So here's a question. If we do all this, then we say to extract 500 gallons of beer, at what velocity does it fly out of the bag? And in what form?
Question. It's an excellent question.
The image I have in my head is just whenever and wherever I want, I can just sort of reach into my pocket and pull out a handful of beer and just sip it.
Well, we shall see.
Well, it's different to my mind, because in my mind, as soon as you ask for it, it just powers out at you with the velocity of a fire hose.
Yeah, all of it comes out.
plowing you into the face.
I suppose it would depend on how you phrased it.
Yeah, true. All right, well, I've filled that bastard up. Can I have a look at the rest of the room, do a little perception check, see if there's anything that jumps out at me?
Sure. Make a. Are you looking or rummaging?
Yeah, rummage. Yeah.
Okay, make an investigation check, and if anyone's going to help you, you can roll with advantage.
I'll help you.
Are you going to
help?
You hear the voices and presumably go over to the other side, yeah? Okay, so that means you've got a 15. With a 15, you notice that behind the bar, everything seems pretty normal. Spare glasses, a rag, some little like snack bowls that are empty. Some rat droppings beside them from the rats that ate the leftover snacks. And then you see 2 strips of leather sort of stuffed into a drawer. You can only see the sort of like little bits of it jammed into this drawer just underneath the bar counter.
Yeah, I'll go and fiddle around with that and see what that is.
Okay. You pull on it, and it appears to be a very small drawer, and inside is like a pair of plain-looking leather gloves.
All right, I'll look them over. And have I got gloves on? I think I've just got like leather armor. Is that part of my gloves?
Yeah, gloves are kind of a separate thing. So if you're going to look them over, what are you trying to determine?
Well, if they look fancy.
Okay, make a Arcana check.
Right.
Oh, wow.
That's about right.
With a 3, you think, I don't know, leathery? You're not sure.
Leathery. Okay. Zenoi, what do you reckon these are?
I can check them out.
Yep, you can make an Arcana check.
They look like gloves.
Really? I haven't seen the check yet. Oh, here we go. Oh wow, with a 5. Yeah. You think to yourself, glove arcana is not really your specialty. Not sure.
Yeah, so I was thinking gloves. Thanks for confirming it.
How many adventurers does it take to screw in a pair of gloves?
You've literally gone into 4 peasant houses, rummaged through their possessions,
I tried to help you.
stolen their beer. You're the most like low key adventurers.
I'm in another room. I'm just going to run forward and smash my way through this door in front of me.
Okay. You smash through the. Actually, make an athletics check, just because.
Yeah.
And Abe, you wanted to do or help say something?
Oh, I was going to say that I'll give a try with the Arcana as well, even if my Arcana is going to be shit.
Okay.
Anyway.
You can roll, but it's slightly more difficult because of all the failures that have happened so far. No, you don't have disadvantage. It's just the DC is more difficult.
Okay.
Okay, with
Oh
a
my
4,
God.
you think basically what's happened is Joza has seen some gloves or something that looked like gloves. He's picked them up and gone, leather gloves. Then said, what do you think, Zenarai? He's come over and said, yeah, it looks like leather to me. Then Abe has come over and said, let me have a look. No, you're right, that is leather.
Excellent. So we have leather gloves. We've
And
established
Monty,
that.
you burst through into this other room and stumble across the back of a undead-looking creature, like rummaging through a desk looking to eat things, and is like eating sheafs of paper and strips of parchment and trying to just munch it down.
Sweet.
Oh.
Good stuff. I'm sure I fucking surprised him smashing in like that.
I would say so, yeah.
Dope. Okay. All right.
Fuck him up.
I'm going to
Well,
make a dash for it. I'm assuming you're going to scream or something while we are putting
well,
our gloves.
I mean, wait a minute. I mean, he doesn't seem to be wanting to fight straight away.
By the way, if he's also trying to eat anything, I think we should consider the king is going that way. Just like in metaphysical sense over here.
He'll eventually find his way over here.
Good idea. No, a ravening appetite.
Zenarai?
Okay. Let me think.
No? Okay. Yeah, you basically. I don't think he's noticed you yet, in my estimation, because he's concentrating on eating, like, what's the word for stuff? Detritus of this desk.
Okay. I am going to. I'm going to sneak up behind him. Wait. No, I'm not. Sorry. I'm going to. Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna cast guiding bolt on him.
Okay, go for it.
I was like, let me work out if this person is even a person or not. But you know, fuck it. Bit of guiding bolt action.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Okay. How do you want this thing to die?
I just want it to explode.
Okay, so basically you put your hand out and this burst of yellow light illuminates the room and a little bit of the street behind you, and it makes a sort of zing sound as chunks of him go flying all over the room.
Wow, I wonder if that guy was even sentient or had any ability to tell us anything. Oh well, I say to myself.
Cool.
May I look around the desks and all the stuff that he was ravening over to see if there's anything of interest?
Sure, make an investigation check. Yeah, make an investigation check. All right. With an 8, you find a small drawer in the desk, and inside the drawer is a salt shaker. Again, you presume that this stuff is quite valuable and it has been hidden.
Salt shaker, pretty sweet. Okay, I take it. I'll pocket the salt shaker.
And should we end the session on the salt shaker discovery?
That would feel oddly fitting.
Yeah, I feel like it's very much the low key sort of let's slow things down a bit. Let's examine our surroundings.
It's the bottle episode.
Yeah, it's well, self-imposed bottle episode.
Yeah.
Also, just to skip ahead because it's fun. To eventually, if you examine the gloves, you would probably have enough time to discover that they're gloves of thieving.
Sick.
So they're a standard D&D item. You can add them to your inventory using D&D Beyond, and when you wear them, they are invisible, and they give you a +5 bonus to sleight of hand checks or dexterity checks when you're picking locks.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And they also would help if you're trying to sleight of hand something.
Yeah. Just think ahead to a time where you don't suck at rolls, and
I mean, yeah, it's just a matter of time. If you spent like a short rest with them, for example, then you would find out.
okay.
Cool. Well done, guys. That was a very... It's like a character study. Like, it was very much like, I don't know, it was let's examine the personal relationships of this shell of a town.
Yeah, it's like the wasp episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it had a little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're just kind of here, and we're going to look at everything in a lot of detail, and that's it, really.
It was good. It reminded me of kind of like an improv session where, you know, like, let's get a suggestion from the audience. Okay, Greg. All right, let's go with Greg.
Yeah, I think
Mid-season
that's
lull.
It was
That's
also
like, it's the double-edged. I was going to say, but it's the double-edged sword of a highly improvisational group. Of just like, you're throwing things out there, and it's just like, we are not going to take that, sir.
it was good. To be honest, I was... Yeah, go on, Zenari.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we've got some good consistency with regards to the fucking of Greg.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Which at least I'm very happy about.
And
I think our characters are very consistent.
I was...
everyone's come round to the idea that he's a twat.
Yeah, exactly. It really changed. And I was worried, to be honest, that I didn't have enough prepared for this session. I needn't have worried.
Oh, man.
We didn't leave basically the 2 rooms that we were in last session.
I suppose it's also a factor of not having played it so long. It's almost reacquainting yourself with the stuff that you had known previously. Like what were we doing? What were we looking for?
That's the thing. It takes a while to remember what the plot items or points are that like will progress the plot, I guess. Yeah, that's really funny. I think that must be. It must be. I'm learning or realizing how tricky it must be to gauge how much the group is going to progress an adventure. Like, as in, like, sometimes it progresses in an area wildly where you have nothing prepared, I would imagine, or like, and sometimes it's just like not very much in the direction that you expected to go. I don't know. It seems difficult from the very little DMing I've now done to anticipate where people are going to go and prepare for that.
Yeah, it's like it's interesting. I was just, it makes you think, like, one of the toughest, almost like subtle decisions is when do you just let things play out, and when do you like, I don't know, how much do you make the world move into this moment, or how much do you just let things play out? Like, it's an interesting decision.
At what point do you just introduce a townsperson who's just like, oh, I'm wounded, I've just been over there. Something's happening.
What are you dickheads doing over here? I told you 3 episodes ago there was this massive thing over there which you've ignored since then.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you have any suggestions or any ideas that we should incorporate, things you want to hear more of, things you would like to hear less of, just let us know at the Wrong Hands Podcast thewronghandspodcast@gmail.com. So THEWRONGHANDSPODCAST @gmail.com.